We're saying some good things to him in practice. Is that a lie?
No, I did. I did say some good things. And then we had a little 7:10 a.m. meeting today, and we went the other direction. But no, it's just a reminder of how important this week will be. We have achieved and accomplished nothing so far this year. So defensively, and now he's got to set the tone. He's got to use his size. He's not the quickest guy we're going to have, but he has to use his size and his intelligence to keep people.
What about Carson? Talk about William. The guys we talk about, we talk about how he's going to be more aggressive on offense and look for his shot. Is that something you've encouraged? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. We want him to be more of a scorer this year than he has been. But I think Lavoie is who he is, and he's not going to just all of a sudden change how he plays the game. He's very efficient. I want him to be more of a scorer, but I'll take Lavoie out in any way that I can get him. I think he's that good at basketball. But he certainly can get, if he can get into the mid-teens for us in terms of his scoring average, that would be great. You think that his rebounding will be still pretty good, and then his defense has always been great.
You know what, Jackie? He's a terrific basketball player. I think a lot is going to depend on how other teams play him and how much they push him. But he's certainly, when you watch him play, you walk away saying, boy, this guy's got something a little bit special about him. So, but he's going to be, again, a focus of the other team. So that's going to be the big thing, how he handles that focus that's going to be placed on him, and also finishing the game. So we'll see. But right now, if you put my feet to the fire and said, who's our fifth starter, I'd be Scooty.
What did TJ show you to say?
Well, first, TJ's a real reliable guy. He knows what he's doing out there all the time, and he had a good summer. He had a real positive summer for him. He's scoring the ball better, and he's understanding what his role is defensively. And Khalif just a very, very good scorer. And the issue for me now is to be a solid defensive player, so that you can score all you want, but if you give it up down at the other end, then that's a bad combination. We want plus numbers versus even or minus numbers.
Impact in terms of increased minutes of guys we didn't see that much of last year.
Well, probably I would say right off the bat, TJ DeLeo and Khalif Wyatt. Those two guys are going to get increased minutes. Eric played his share of minutes last year. His minutes have to increase. Lavoie's going to be about the same. He's going to play a lot of minutes. Juan will play a lot of minutes. Ramon will play a lot of minutes. Riley Jefferson will probably be the first guy off the bench. That's probably how we will use him. Scooty Randall will have increased minutes. He's more than likely going to jump into that starting spot, and he has to be a great defensive player, and he has to make perimeter jump shots for us.
Coach, these guys have learned how to win under your tutelage the last few years. When you look at trying to get over that next hump, I know it's the NCAA tournament's a long way off. You got to qualify. We're a long way away from that. But do you think they're using that as motivation in any shape, form, or fashion, whether it be the off-season or just watching them here in the preseason? What happened last year and the years before?
Well, I think if we're fortunate enough to get back to the NCAA tournament, I'm sure we will learn some lessons from that. But that's, as you just said, a long way from any thoughts that we will have. Obviously, our thoughts now are with Seton Hall. But certainly the last game we played was Cornell. Cornell beat us up pretty good. So I hope they remember that going into Friday's game. And we need to be the best basketball team we can be every time out. So there's a little bit of memory there, and hopefully we use it as real positive motivation. In a pretty dramatic fashion, because we're losing 60-some minutes a game in Guzman and Brooks, so he's got a lot of opportunity to play, but he's also going to be keyed on more than he was last year as well. So it'll be interesting to see how his offensive game will be.
He always seemed to play better when he started. Did you feel that that'll help him this year to start from that?
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to agree with you with that. I think he was pretty good coming off the bench. He gave us a nice burst. Again, he'll be pointed more to as a starter versus coming off the bench. You don't set your defense necessarily for guys coming off the bench. You know, it's interesting. We were at Penn State a couple weeks ago, and we talked about how some years you do well early, and then it doesn't mean anything at the end of the year because you haven't played your best. And then some years you don't do so well, and all of a sudden you're more focused when the bell rings. So we'll see. I mean, we have a great opener for us on Friday. Seton Hall is a great opener for us in terms of
challenging and testing us to see what kind of team we will be, certainly.
Coach, can you just talk about what's different on this team? When you talk about your personnel and what you expect out of your guys in terms of not necessarily style of play, but what will you be better at, maybe what's lacking?
Well, I think it's going to be hard for us to put up the same defensive numbers we put up last year for a couple of different reasons. One, they were really good, the defensive numbers, and number two, the guys who led the way in terms of meeting the first thrust were Ryan Brooks and Louis Guzman. We don't have either one of those two guys. So then it falls to a guy like Juan and Ramon Moore. They have to really make their defensive efficiency and intensity, and that really has to set the tone for us behind in the back line of our defense. Lavoie is very good at it. He understands what his job is back there to cover up a lot of sins that we make up front. But that's going to be the biggest challenge for us to see how good we can be defensively. Can we be a better scoring team? I think we might be able to. We'll see. But again, I think on the offensive end, you're always worried about the selection that you make, the shot selection, the pass selection. Hopefully we'll be efficient on the offensive end, but really still solid on the defensive end.
You've always had